Jupiter's moving into the sign of Taurus and is going to be there for almost an entire year. So let's take a closer look at what that might mean for us. So let's think about the planets for a minute. The planets in astrology are divided into two groups. You've got the inner planets, which represent much more of a personal, individual aspect of ourselves. And then we have the outer planets, which are way more universal and encompass us more as a community player. Jupiter is the first of the outer planets. So what that means is it's going to affect us more as a society. It's not so much an individual thing, even though it will have an influence on us individually, but more how we relate to one another in a community sense, in a family sense, in a bigger picture sense. So Jupiter represents psychologically our ability to expand outside of the normal circumstances of life. It's our ability to dip into and push into our higher mind and go into a more abstract way of thinking. It rules things like philosophy, it rules higher education, it rules spirituality and religion in a way. So anything that expands our spirits and pushes us beyond the confines of the mental capacity and the stresses of the limitations of what we put on ourselves. So Jupiter's there to sort of get things moving in a bigger, more all-encompassing way, but together. Being in the sign of Taurus, Taurus again is a much more patient sign. It's very deliberate. It's ruled by Venus, which is great because that brings in the elements of beauty and art and creativity. And so Jupiter is now expanding out in a way that brings beauty and brings creativity to us as a society and us as a community. However, it's not thoughtless. It's not fast or quick. It's way more, again, patient, deliberate, looking at the situation, looking at what we're creating together as a society, and then moving forward in that. And my hope is that that's true and that we really do stop for a second, slow things down, really look at like what's happening out there in the world, connect together as human beings instead of this like idea of us being separate. And then as a universal community, we figure out how are we going to move forward and how is it going to be a beautiful thing and how is it going to be a creative, artistic expression of who we are as human beings living on this planet right now. I like to think of the archetypes of the planets like this. The planets are they're like the actors, so to speak. In the great drama and the great play of life, they're the actors. The signs are the costumes that these actors wear. The colors, the patterns on the costumes. And then when we get into the houses of astrology, it shows where on the stage, where in life do these actors express their roles and speak their dialogue. So what we have here is the actor of Jupiter donning the robe of Taurus and expressing itself out in the world through us. Remember, astrology is not something that's happening to us. We're expressing this energy through us. So that's what's going to be happening for the next year. To me, that represents a time to be patient with one another, a time to really be deliberate in our actions and really make choices of how we're going to expand our own personal consciousness, expand our own ideas of where we are in our lives, any confines in our lives. How do we want to expand that? And then how does that relate to our communities, to our families, to our loved ones, to the world at large? Where are we going to go with all this? So I'm excited to see what you come up with. Please comment below on what your thoughts are. And then again, if you ever have any questions about this, let's connect and let's talk about it. All right. I hope that helps. Thanks so much.